Jimmy Neutron. Well, a lot of people look back to their childhood and they think Jimmy Neutron. So tell me, how did that role come about for you?
You know, my agent sent me out on this little nothing pilot. Like, I always go out on pilot auditions. And this wasn't even a pilot. It was going to be interstitials, which are these little, like, 3 to 4 minute little snippets of cartoons. And it was just your typical little boy. And that was way before I was voicing little boys. I was much more comfortable voicing little girl voices. And I thought, God, all these girls going in for this little boy voice have, like, gravel in their voice. They all kind of talk like that naturally, you know. And I didn't. I don't have gravel. So I gave it my best shot. And I, you know, made my little boy voice and didn't have any gravel in it. And that's the one they picked. And I was like, yeah.
Did you know it was going to be such a hit when you auditioned for it?
I didn't know Jimmy Neutron was going to be so successful because it was just snippets. It was interstitials. And when I saw the interstitials, these like 3 and 4 minute, 6 minute cartoons, I thought, these are really cute. And then they came back and they said, guess what? We're going to do a feature film. And I thought, awesome. And then I got my first feature film. And then they said, oh, now we're going to do a cartoon series. So yay. And then after that came video games and the rides at Universal and commercials. It just, a lot of stuff.
It just kept going from there. That's amazing.
So it was a big campaign.
All of these shows from my childhood are coming back and making a revive with like That's So Raven and also Fuller House now. Do you think Jimmy Neutron is possible for a revive soon?
I really think it would be the best financial decision Paramount and Nickelodeon could make. I know that we're ready. I just don't know about the other end yet. I'm crossing my fingers. I think a revival is really a huge moneymaker for both Paramount and Nickelodeon, so fingers crossed. I hope it goes.
Yes.
I mean, we're all still here wanting to record it. So, and I think the audience now has had children. Our children, our initial audience, who were then, 7 and 8 years old, are now of the age where they're finished college and they're having their own families and they want to show Jimmy Neutron to their kids.
They want it back. We want it back.
Yeah, so, you know, hashtag revival Jimmy Neutron. Is that what it is?
Yeah, hashtag revival Jimmy Neutron. And there's a whole bunch of Twitter accounts that are pulling for the revival of Jimmy Neutron. So there are people pulling for this. So that's amazing.
So if you want to do something proactive, I guess you could send an email or write a letter to Paramount or Nickelodeon or, I don't know, maybe even John Davis, the creator.
So you are reprising your role as Coco Bandicoot.
Yeah.
How is that reprisal?
You know, when we do video games and you have a character that people like, I think the fan base is making me all excited that they called me in to do it's like a remastering of what we did before. It's just with different technology. And so we don't get to work with, you know, I don't work with Crash or with everybody. I work on my own. So how is it? I don't know. It's like talking to myself like I do all the time. The difference for me is the fan base is so huge and people love it so much, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Now, Crash Bandicoot is coming out June 30th, so it's coming out very, very soon.
Right.
Now, is there a difference of voicing for a TV show compared to voicing for a video game?
Difference. The differences are in maybe the session times, and the video games sometimes go on for, it depends. Like, I'm in Guild Wars 2 and I play Timey, and there's always updates to it. So I'm always going in and doing additional stuff for Timey because the players play through. Sometimes the video games are start to finish and there's not extra stuff. For TV, you have a set number of episodes, and once those episodes are done, then you're done. And the session time can be more 4 hours for a TV cartoon as opposed to, it might only be 2 or 3 hours depending on the difficulty of the video games. Because usually in video games you scream, jump, die, you know, you're in battle a lot. So it's really harder on your voice.
Now, what does Coco sound like?
She's kind of a brat. And she's always like, reprimanding Crash. Crash, really? So she's kind of just a snarky little sister. Very independent, very free-spirited, and has a mind of her own.
Now, talking about having a mind of your own, Maureen from F is for Family, she is a spunky, sparky character.
Yeah.
How was, being a part of F is for Family with the writers and Bill Burr?
The writers on F is for Family are the funniest bunch of crazy people I've ever met. They are a little bit sick, which I think you have to be a little twisted to write this show because it's a little raunchy, I think. But it's, hello boys! My dogs came to visit. But in addition to Maureen, who is, I can't go into too much detail, but season 2 will be out hopefully sometime in May.
Oh, wow, perfect.
Yeah, it'll be out shortly. And just hold on to your seats. It is insane what happens in season 2. And I can't tell you much about Maureen right now, but you'll be entertained. And there's some other neighborhood kids that I play. Philip and Kenny, and the writers are amazing. Like Mike Price, who writes also for The Simpsons. And of course Bill Burr and his funniness. All the writers are very funny. I have such a good time in that show. And it's my dog. I laugh a lot. Sometimes we have to stop the takes because we're laughing so hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Was this your first voicing for a Netflix original?
No. Yes. No. I can't remember. I have another show called Glitter Force.
Oh, okay.
And I play Candy in the first season. And in the second season, I don't think I'm allowed to say yet what I play, but that will be out, hopefully in the next few months. But in the first season, I'm Candy. She's like a little pixie, and she flies all around. She really loves pizza, and a whole bunch of...
With voicing all these characters, do you have a hard time figuring out what your own voice is? Like sometimes you ever see yourself oh, I sound like Jimmy today.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, to me, when I'm listening to myself on TV or the radio, it always sounds like me. Because I really don't know what I sound like anymore. My easiest voice? This is where my voice would be if I didn't do anything to it at all. Like, if I'm just laying there, this is what it sounds like. But I've kind of gone through training, and now I kind of keep it down here.
Keep it a little lower.
Yeah. But there are times when I get very excited, and it goes really high, or it turns into a little boy, or I get talking to my kid, and I'm like, no. So I never know. Or if I'm talking to my dog, Mango, come here. Oh, this is Mango. He's kind of like the Keanu Reeves of dogs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's like a surfer dude. Hi everybody, my name is Mango. It's all good, I'm chill. Hey.
Now how would Kiwi sound?
Kiwi, come here so we can sound you.
Kiwi! His name is Kiwi. And he's very, very cute, and he's little, and he's kind of a brat. He talks really fast, and he thinks really fast. He's very smart.
And then if Mango takes Kiwi's toy, Kiwi will say, his voice drops a little bit. Don't even think about it. And Mango's very mild manner, and he was
chill.
like, I wasn't even going to touch it. I wasn't doing that. I don't want your toy.
I can completely see it too.
Like, you know that initiative that was on the ballots to legalize that drug, marijuana? I think if Mango were a person, he might own his own store.
His own couple stores.
Yeah, he's chill right now.
Not only are you a master of your craft, you help people master their craft.
I do, and I really don't know how that happens.
So you do voiceover lessons. Talk to me through your voiceover lessons.
I didn't really plan on being a voice teacher, but so many people called me and wanted me to speak to them about voiceover. And then after I spoke to them about voiceover and the business, what's required technically, acting-wise, people started asking me to coach them individually. And this has been over the course of I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years, 8 years I've been teaching. And then I got voted best voiceover teacher in Los Angeles. And I pretty much specialize in commercial and animation as opposed to in video games, because there's so much in voiceover, with promo, announcer, narration, dubbing, or ADR, and I guide people where the best spot in the voiceover business would open up to them if it were to open up, where I see them fitting in. Because I have so much information that I want to share with people, I wrote a book. I wrote this book I happen to have right here. Voiceover 101, How to Succeed as a Voice Actor. And I kind of put everything I know in it. And I also recorded some videos of, excuse me, Mango. It's hard to describe how to bark like a dog, so I kind of tell you, but I also put these little QR codes in there,
wow.
so people can kind of click on the video and go to the video and see me doing it.
Now, so people who can't come to a voiceover lesson with you, they just go ahead and they buy the book?
They can get the book as an ebook or order their own printed copy, or I do Skype lessons as well. So I have students, New York, Germany, all over the United States, the UK, and it's a little time schedule to work it out, but I do teach people all over the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
Everything that I know, which is, I don't know what I know, but somehow or other they want to...
It's working.
It's working. I have students who have booked amazing jobs, who are already established voice artists that want to come in and get coaching on a particularly heavy audition that is a very important audition, because there's tricks to getting your audition to jump off the page so that it'll book, which is the goal of any audition, is to book it. Well, to do a good job is the goal of the audition, but ultimately you want to work and have money to buy food.
Now, what's the most rewarding...
And dog food.
Dog food, yes, especially for Mango. What's the most rewarding part about being a teacher?
The most rewarding part about being a teacher, I think, is that moment when the student gets it. Like when they can hear it. Sometimes I'll give them line reads, which I don't like to do, but I like them to hear where you want to go. What is the end goal here? And the minute they hear it for themselves, like I'll say, watch for this. Watch for that P that's popping. Watch for that T that's popping. Listen for that melody in that line. Hit this word. Tap on that word. And if they are set in doing it one way, it's tough to change. Tough to take that adjustment. But when they get it, they stop themselves. Oh, I just did it that way. And then they get it. And you see the lights go on.
Just like...
Yeah. And there's also another light that goes on when they go from what I call mic voice to their natural voice. When people get in front of a microphone, the thing that most people do is they pinch up and they go into this whisper. Hi, hi, you know what? I'm going to take it like this voice, as opposed to just this voice.
Yeah.
It's tough to get in front of the mic and just do this. And when I see that happen, then I know there's been some real progress and they're well on their way.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And also when people realize, it's rewarding to me as a teacher when I see people honor what they are. So many times people want to be something that they're not. They want to do high squeaky voices and little kids. When they don't sound like a little kid, they sound like a granny or a toadstool or a dog. And I want you to honor what it is you naturally can create. Because that's when the audience is going to believe it the most, when you're sort of in your natural spot.
Now, for you, how do you determine what the voice of the character might be?
It's kind of a mix of a lot of things. I will look at the character description and kind of see what comes to mind first. I say there's this granny. Maybe I'm voicing a granny, so maybe she's a skinny granny, or maybe she's fat. So I'll go into my granny voice, but maybe she has no lower teeth. So I'll take out her lower teeth all of a sudden, and she's got an upper sibilant S. And maybe she's on a motorcycle, so I'll put her in the saddle. Maybe she's in a trailer park, so then she has this. Okay, but maybe she's skinny, so maybe she's from the South, and she has no bottom teeth, and she has a high voice on a motorcycle. Or maybe it's a teenage girl, and maybe she has braces. So you just layer different things. Maybe she comes from here, down here. Maybe her voice lies here, or
maybe it's a mouse and it's up here.
So I kind of layer those things. But I think the most, the easiest thing for people is when you can channel somebody that you really know. You know, like your dog, or your mom, or your grandma, or, you know, your turtle. Somebody that you already have in your head.
Just so. Can you impersonate a lot of people, or is it just you make your own characters?
I don't really impersonate. There are people that totally specialize in it. Like, you know, John Bailey is amazing at impersonation. I think I can do a lot of different ages and characters and personalities and energies, which is different from impersonating,
Yes.
which I don't really do. I'd like to. That would be fun. But yeah, no, I don't.
A nice little party trick.
Right.
Now, what is your biggest advice for people trying to be a voiceover actor as successful as you?
I think keyword actor, it's not something that you just pick up and do without acting training, because that is going to determine whether your auditions and your jobs are going to shine or not. And the personality that I think is this undercurrent in actors is being able to like the business and not consider it a rejection all the time, or get into a state of depression if you don't book something right away, because just the nature of the business is what you need to enjoy, because that's what most of it is. Most of it is doing interviews with great gals who do social media, or
buying your book. Well,
buying my book is probably the number one thing you should do if you're going to be a voice artist.
The number one.
But a lot of classes where you can meet these people you need to meet, who are going to be in your niche. Who are the ADR coordinators on the shows that you love if you want to loop? Who are the casting directors and directors on the cartoons that you love, that you want to be on the feature films you want to be on, or the anime shows you want to dub? Where do you go to learn the dubbing, or to meet these people who are going to cast you in it? And all those things are available. And they're not free, unfortunately. It's not acting is not a cheap business.
No,
acting is very expensive to get into, because there's so much competition and there's so much to learn. Unless if your dad or mom owns Paramount or is the head director on a big show, work it.
Yeah. Get in there. So much, Debbie. It was such fun talking to you and your adorable little puppies. Make sure you watch F is for Family, Buddy Thunderstruck, and so much more she has going on.
Kiwi says, thank you very much for watching my mommy.
And Mango says, hey, it's all good. So here's from Debi Derryberry and my dogs. Oh, and my dogs. I don't even know what I sound like, Reagan.
You're a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.